Hi there, it's Brian Bram with Eagles Wings Community Church, again on another blog here. And it's a blog on apologetics, and it's actually going to be a series of blogs. It should be about 5 blogs. And so be sure to read the blogs and not just watch the videos, because I don't give all the answers out in the videos. It's just kind of an introduction. So I actually am doing this series of blogs for a paper for school on in my apologetics class, and so it's a bit of an odd project where it's kind of a paper and a blog at the same time, so a little bit different. So the topic that I chose for this particular focus on apologetics is biblical contradictions. And there's a few main camps in this debate. There are those who would answer the question, are there biblical contradictions? And one camp would say absolutely not. There are none, at least in the original manuscripts. Another camp would say absolutely there are. A lot of times these folks end up being the skeptics. And then there's also sort of another camp that would answer the question, yes, but, and then go on from there to define what that means. And so that can take various forms, really just like the first 2 camps as well, but especially the third. Essentially then, a lot of times that third camp, the yes, but camp, will answer yes, but it doesn't detract really from the main meaning of Scripture. So that's one camp. I might not be in any of those camps. Shocking to know, I'm sure, if you've followed me at all in this blog already. So as you'll see, I take a little bit different an approach, I guess, to the yes, but. It might even actually be better to say yes and no rather than yes but for me in my camp. So I might be in a camp all by myself, or maybe I'm starting a new camp. I don't know. I doubt it. So what we're going to explore in this blog series, or at least in this initial blog especially, is both the idea of internal and external contradictions, and to define those a little bit, an internal contradiction would just be a few different versions of a story, or a couple of different passages of Scripture, or a few different sort of ideas about God, or something along those lines. So one of my favorite examples here is there are some scriptures that talk about the king sending an army. And then there's some other passages about sort of somebody else sending an army. And at first glance, it kind of looks to be a contradiction, an internal contradiction. Upon further review, we find out that very often we still kind of even talk like this. We could easily say that the president sent the troops. And then we could also say that, the general sent the troops, and it would not necessarily be a contradiction. So it's just kind of the way language works. So we'll explore those ideas a little bit. External contradictions would popularly be the idea that Scripture is in contradiction with science or logic, philosophy, or something like that. So it's obviously a very huge topic, and there's no way to cover everything in one paper / blog. But we'll muddle our way through as much information as we can, and of course we always take specific example questions or objections or anything like that. So this paper / blog will kind of attempt to show how something can be both true and false at the same time. So I'm defying logic, rebelling against logic that says something has to be either true or false, one of the two. I'm saying that it can be, a statement can be true or false at the same time. So you'll have to read the blog to find out what I mean by that. That my answer to this question, if somebody were to ask me, does the Bible contradict itself, or is the Bible contradictory to what we know about science or logic or something, I would say, well, yes and no, as a matter of fact. And then they would have to say, well, what do you mean? And then I would be happy to expound. Why is this topic important? Well, I think it's important for, once again, both internal and external reasons. I think that internally it's important for Christians to be thinking about this question and how to answer it. Because certainly if we don't seem to have good reasons for what we believe, then we just kind of don't look like very smart people, I think. I think externally we need to, once again, I'll kind of reiterating what I just said, we need to make sure we have good answers for people, and not just silly answers, not well thought out answers or ridiculous answers. So I think we'll explore some good examples of claims to contradiction for both internal and external claims to contradiction in Scripture, in both the blog slash paper and also in the videos. And some examples that I can think of off the top of my head, of course, the creation account in Genesis 1 and 2. Were animals or were humans created first? Some people, especially if reading the King James, they might say that those two accounts contradict one another. And so we'll have to answer that. And then another example might be, how many people discovered the tomb, how many angels were there, and all that kind of thing. Sometimes there seems to be some sort of differing accounts in the various Gospels. So are those actual contradictions, or are they just perceived contradictions? Well, we'll have to kind of explore that as we go throughout this series. So away we go to the first blog in the series, and you can get there on the website. Blessings.